Hello, hello. Oh my God, this is looking so great. Mm, let's see. Oh, this is good. Okay, hello everybody, and good afternoon. How are you doing? Let's see. Okay, I think the light is just it's a little weird today, but how are y'all feeling? How are you doing? I'm just starting my live. This is my third live in a row. I'm so proud of myself for keeping up with these. I did not think I'll be able to keep it up as long as, but I did. Okay, so I will be here for just a short time, and it's just to discuss my new video, which is Till Death Do Us Part, the rising costs of weddings. So hopefully you got a chance to watch the video, but if you didn't, I will put the link in the comment section. So let me go ahead and get working on that now. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's a longer video, definitely. Okay, in the chat. Let me know if you want me to break it up like I did last time. So I think last time after I finished my other video of the modern beauty standard, I ended up breaking it up into two parts, which worked out for some people who can't sit down for a 50-minute video. And I did say in my last live that this video is going to be even longer. It's like my longest video I have currently, but yeah, it's gonna be my longest for a while. I think my other videos that are coming up soon are 30 minutes and under. But certainly let me know your feedback on that video. I worked very hard on it, like I said, and I tried to cover as much as possible with a lot of detail. And I like how it came out. So let me know, go into the comment section. You can let me know in the chat, but also let me know in that comment section how you like the video, details, any constructive criticism you have to give. I'm also open to that. So thank you very much. Okay, so now that we are here, I just wanted to discuss a few things about the video and answer any questions, just to explain a little bit. I mean, I know it's a 50-minute video, it says everything, but there are a few other things that I didn't go into because I mean, I was already kind of struggling to keep it within the 50-minute range. I did a lot of detailed research, which I love. I love doing research on videos and just bring in the most up to date, most detailed information because I mean, why not? But then that leads to longer videos, and also beyond that, it leads to just having to leave out some other things because I'm not used to doing part one, part twos of videos, which maybe in the future I would implement that more. But I'm trying to find out the right length for a video on my channel. So I'll get used to it as time goes on. Okay, so going to the rising cost of weddings, I actually love doing this research when I was doing it. I wanted to include a lot of content of what I was talking about. So I'm talking about reels and videos, mostly from Instagram. And I guess I'm not on TikTok, but people post their Instagram reels on TikTok as well. So now it's like a cross content sharing platform. But essentially, I wanted to include as much as possible. And for a while, let me tell you, I think Instagram thought I was getting married because every time I saved a video or downloaded a video, they would feed me more and more. And at one point, my entire Instagram page looked like wedding. It was just a bunch of wedding content over and over again. But I think that was a good way of making sure I'm getting as much perspective as possible. And I looked at all different kinds of weddings from all over the world that were on the internet and all different aspects of it as well. So from the bridesmaid's perspective, from the bride, from the groom, from content creators. And that was very, very interesting. So um, if you're not on wedding Instagram, go ahead and try. Now I'm no longer on there after I ended up like unsaving a lot of the videos after I put it in the video I worked on. I ended up unsaving a lot of them and, deleting my downloads as well. And now I am on organization TikTok. I mean, that would be a video for later down the line, several weeks, several months, but I am on there and it's going to be some good content coming soon. Okay, so going to the rising cost of weddings. Of course, the main objective of that video was to show that the cost of weddings overall is rising. It is increasing as we speak, probably going to be more next year than it is this year. I think the number we had on there was like 100. Oh, not 100. It was like $33,000, but like 2 years ago it was 29,000. I'm sure this year is more than 33,000, and by next year it will be even more. So the whole point is that it's increasing because the price of goods and services do naturally increase. So you have that aspect. But beyond that is all the other things that goes into a wedding. And sometimes it does beg the question, who are you having that wedding for? Is it for you, your husband to be, or your the bride and the groom, the family, or for the internet? It does make me wonder, if there was no internet, would people go as hard on their weddings as they do? And I didn't have time to ask this question. I did speak a little bit of it at the end about having a wedding for you, for the marriage, rather than just for the wedding day. But it does beg the question, if there was no Instagram, if there was no social media, if there wasn't that, would the weddings be as big as we see on social media? And the answer is probably not so much. But then there is the family aspect. So even prior to Instagram, social media, and all of those, there were still some cultures where big weddings were where it's at, because then people be like, oh, comparing like this wedding to that wedding, and it's like culture, it's family. So beyond that, I know a lot of African weddings were big. Even when I was younger and I used to go to weddings, they were big weddings, like really big weddings. And people talked about the food, the outfits. And those weddings did not make it on social media, but it was still a big deal. So I wanted to include that part. I don't think I had time. Well, I had to cut out, just talking about the pressure of the family. That was what I was insinuating about the illusion of choice, right? It's like, okay, you have the choice to do a big wedding, a small wedding. But in some cultures, it's almost impossible to escape. I know it sounds like, well, you can just choose not to, but the pressure is there way more than in other cultures in general. Okay, so there was that aspect, but also the number of weddings that are costing over $50,000, over $100,000 are on the rise. When you see those social media weddings, a lot of them cost six figures. And we know the numbers, less than 20% of the US adults make over six figures. And a lot of them are already married, right? By the time people reach six figures, a lot of them are older and married, because the age group where people have their income peak the highest is in their 40s. The median age for marriage in the United States is like late 20s, right? Late 20s. So people are not there yet, but the money spent on weddings is increasing, right? Okay, but another reason why we see big weddings, I think, just put into perspective of how much money people spend, is that some people are also on their second and third marriages, and they're typically in their 30s and 40s. So when you see those types of weddings, of course it's going to be big, of course it's going to be elaborate. People are making more money than they were in their 20s. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses. You see them do big things, and maybe that's not where you are at now. But remember, you can always have like a vow renewal and have the big wedding that you dreamed of. Of course, it's not like the first time you're not actually getting married because you're already married, but you can still have an anniversary party 10, 20, 30 years. And that's really important, because then we know the marriage has lasted. It's not the same advice, it's not the same nervousness. You've built a life with this person. And so that's is an important aspect to keep in mind as well. Your first wedding doesn't have to be the biggest. Well, not like a first wedding, but when you're getting married initially, some people get married secretly, and then like years later, they have the big reception. You're like, oh, they're getting married, but it's like, oh, they've been married for like 2, 3 years now. You know, I know people who do that, and I think that just puts an importance on the marriage rather than just the wedding. The wedding is a celebration, but real life is the marriage. So make sure you at least like like make sure you at least like the person. It does wonder. It does make you wonder because some people get married and then within a year or two, boom, a divorce, right? Okay, so we know the cost of weddings are skyrocketing because of social media, because of family pressure, also because things cost more. And I think there's also this persistence of content creators, of vendors. So vendors are becoming content creators and they're charging so much money. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be paid because I think everybody in there should be paid. But some of these prices are very unfair. So an example is this lady, she went to go get her makeup done. Just a regular makeup. She went to the makeup artist. The makeup artist didn't come to her. And then later, the makeup artist found out that she had her wedding in that makeup. But she asked for a party makeup. You gave her party makeup. And then she was mad. She was like, well, I should have charged you a wedding price. And she wanted to send an extra bill because her wedding makeup cost like over twice as much as a regular makeup. But the person asked for a regular makeup, and that's what you gave it to her. So we know the wedding markup is very real because the vendors are charging way more than sometimes it's even worth, right? So it became a whole issue. If I go get my hair done for regular price, but then I use it for my wedding, does that mean you should charge me a wedding hair price? Like, what's the difference? I came and asked for regular hair, and I just happened to use it for my wedding. Same with cakes. If you ordered a regular cake, you can pay under $100 for some of these cakes. But the moment you tell them it's a wedding cake, boom, 500, 600, $700, right? Okay, so the wedding markup is real. We know the pressures. The biggest thing with this video was to empower you with the information, give you the numbers, averages. But just because it's average does not mean that you have to stick to that price. An average means that it's there are people who have more expensive and there are people who have least expensive, right? And it gets dragged up in between somewhere in the middle. So this information is to empower you to go out, do your research, think about yourself and your partner, but then also think long term. Think beyond just the wedding, think to the marriage and what would set you all up for a really good foundation for family, for the family that you're building. Do not put yourself into $100,000 of debt for a wedding when you're just starting out and now you have to make payments. What really surprises me sometimes is that the average or the median for that, I mean, average is a term that encompasses both mean, median, and mode. So people can use it interchangeably. But I think when people think of median, they often think of the mean rather than a median. Or when people think of average, they think of the the mean rather than the median. So I want to stick to the way people communicate just so that it's not lost in translation. Anyway, off of that tangent, um, it is really important to not compare yourself to everybody out there. But also, what I was saying about what I find maybe not hypocritical, but I just find it contradictory is that student loans, the median student loan debt is less than $35,000 in the United States. And a lot of people will talk about how, oh, I was young, you know, being put into a lifetime of debt that I can never pay off. And, you know, I'm being sucked onto this and I just can't get out, right? Even though it's an investment into your education and into your future. And by the way, you have freedom to choose any education that you want to, right? For the most part, you can choose to major in anything you want. So you go there, you take out student loans. Some people take out more than they even need to for schooling. Okay, that happens. Now you have, you know, on median, on average, $35,000 in student loan debt. And we complain about that, right? Which is fair. I get it. But the same people have absolutely no problem going to buy a $100,000 car and paying it off within like 8 years. Now, the interest rate is slightly different, but a lot of people have federal student loan debt. So it's still the same concept, right? The median student loan debt, the interest rates on that loan versus the interest loan on a car loan is not that much different. But you can pay it off in sometimes 6 years or less, but we don't have the same mentality for paying off student loans. Same with a wedding. There are people who are getting into $100,000 in debt for a wedding. I would one day hopefully review this call from the Dave Ramsey show where a lady called and talked about how they put $100,000. Their wedding was even more than that. That's just how much they put on the credit card. Let that sink in. Mind you, a credit card, the interest rate on the average credit card is about 25%. Student loans don't even touch that. Most student loans are like around maybe 8, 9, maybe even 10%, but that's a little high, but around 8%. Now, when they do work in a compounding manner where the interest can gain interest on the interest, but still with credit card, yeah, you can do the same. And people just lose their mind when it comes to weddings, as if this is like the only day they can get attention and live the life that they want to. You can have a big, wonderful birthday parties, but a lot of time people will not do the same for a birthday party. They wouldn't do the same for any other time. But when it comes to weddings, it just seems like we lose our minds. And like I said in that video, it's relative. What people spend on weddings, whether it's expensive or not expensive, is all relative to how much money they make, how much money they have saved, and how much they have actually budgeted to spend on the wedding. Because if somebody's making $500,000 a year, they have no debt, they already have in a house, and then they decide to spend $100,000, even $150,000 on a wedding, I see that as very reasonable, right? What more can they want? Maybe that's just what they spend their money on, and that's their choice. But it's just good to not look at it in a very focused way of like, oh, I just want this, I want this, and like not willing to compromise, not willing to look for something else that is better out there. So that's all I have to say on that matter. Okay, let's see any more that I wanted to cover before I leave this. I wasn't trying to be on here too long. I do like some of the guests, the new trends that people do. I do. I can't lie about that. And like I said, I cannot be a hypocrite and say I'm going to have a cheap $1,000 wedding, even a $5,000 wedding. Probably not. Probably not. But if you want to have a big wedding, it's very possible, you guys. It's just, again, relative. And beyond that, it's about timing, budgeting, savings, and prioritizing it. If you want to have a huge wedding, and let's say you have maybe 5 years till you get married, you can start saving now. You can start saving, and in the future, if let's say you save $20,000 per year, in 5 years, I'm talking about individually. So you save 10,000, he saves $10,000. Yeah, at the end of 5 years, you will have money to spend on $100,000 wedding. Now, $100,000 wedding 5 years might look like an $80,000 wedding now, but that's still a good amount of money to spend on a wedding, right? Versus now. And I would even encourage that more than going ahead and spending $100,000 on a credit card, because that interest rate will just be horrible, absolutely horrible, to spend that much money on a wedding and then have to pay an extra 25% interest on how much you already spent. So it's almost like spending $125,000 on your wedding, but you didn't even get to enjoy that $25,000 because that's just paying the credit card for using their money. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. And yeah, just save. Life has expenses, life has events that we all want to celebrate. And let's go ahead and just budget it and do it with intention, because if we don't, we are going to miss the opportunity to better our lives just because we're so much in the moment and thinking just so much about now and not the future. Don't let a wedding put you into debilitating debt for a long time. Your marriage is important and you don't want it to suffer. You want to put it on the road to be as successful as it can be. And you can do that with God and with intention. So with that, I am bringing this video to an end. Let me know your comments in the comment section of this video or the next, the actual video, which I put the link in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your afternoon with me. And again, let me know any comments that you have, any reviews. Do you have a story of a wedding? Maybe you spent too much on your wedding. Maybe you don't know how much you want to spend on your wedding. Leave in the comment section. Go watch that video and let me know what you think about it as well. I will not be having a live stream next week or the week after, and probably another week after, but I will be updating my Instagram page for Essential Patience, and I have exciting things coming up. I don't want to speak too much on it, but the next couple of weeks is going to be very exciting for me. I'm so happy to be taking some time off of work and just living my life. We all just have those moments, and I've not taken a lot of those moments this year. I've not taken hardly any vacation, so I'm really happy to be doing so. Good luck on whatever you're doing. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video or the original video or any of my videos on my page with somebody you think could be helpful towards. I look forward to keeping this connection. I will still be interacting with you on my vacation. And yeah, see you when I return, probably November on my next live stream. Okay, be safe. Bye.